So yeah, we are live now. So this is the first live stream on this channel, and the purpose of this live stream is basically I want to solve problems. By problems I mean LeetCode problems. So we will have a live stream every day. Like I'm trying to have a live stream every day. So the plan would be, uh, if we are focusing on LeetCode contest, then we have 4 questions there. So question 1, question 2, question 3 and question 4. So the plan would be basically, for this type of questions, these are easy questions, these are medium questions I would say, and these are medium to medium or medium hard level problems, and this is a hard problem always. So yeah, so if we are having these problems on LeetCode contest specifically, so we would be targeting each set of questions and then practicing that particular questions from the contest, like the past contest, so that we will learn all the topics which are required to solve that particular question. So yeah, so this the first question is easy, so we'll not go much into that type of questions. But question 2 and question 3 is something which will make us interview ready. So we will grind up on this kind of problems. So here also, first we'll start with question 2, like we will solve decent amount of question 2s from the previous contests, and then we will move ahead with slightly hard problems, that is the question 3s. And and what uh, so today, basically I'll just solve this question 2, like question 2 from this previous contest. Like we will practice for about 1 to 2 hours, and then we can move to question 3 on some further days. So yeah, so let's get started. So this is the overall plan which I am targeting right now. So yeah, let's get started with the problems. So I'm having this website, zerotrack.github.io. So here you will find all the recent questions from the previous contest, whether it be bi-weekly or weekly contest. So we will just take all the questions, right, the recent questions, like question 2 initially. So yeah, so let's try solving this. Let's get this first question. Also, the main part is we would be focusing on the thought process, like what is the thought process behind this. So just to be clear, this is some part, like this is something which will give us a lot of learning, and this will include some easy concepts I would say. Sometimes there is pretty interesting concept in question 2, but yeah, let's see how it goes. So the first question is maximum total subarray value 1. Okay, so you are given an integer array nums of length n and an integer k, and you need to choose exactly k non-empty subarrays. Okay, so we have to choose k non-empty subarrays of nums. Subarrays may overlap, and the exact same subarray can be chosen more than once. Okay, so we can take some subarrays of size k, and the value of this subarray is defined as the maximum among that subarray minus minimum among that subarray. Okay, and the total value is the sum of the values of all chosen subarrays. Okay, return the maximum possible total value you can achieve. Great, so let's try to understand this. So what we are given is, we are given an array, let's say 1 3 2, and we are given some integer k, and what we have to do is we have to select a subarray of size k. Let's say this subarray or this subarray. Okay, these are the two subarrays which we can select, which is having size 2. Okay, so from this the value would be the maximum among all the elements in that subarray minus the minimum among all the elements in that subarray. Okay, so let's say we consider this subarray, then the maximum here would be 3 and the minimum here would be 1, and so the total would be 2, and for this 3 and 2 we have maximum as 3 and the minimum as 2, so it would be 1. Okay, so we got this two values, and so then what we have to do is we have to return the maximum possible total value you can achieve. Okay, maximum total value we can achieve. Let's again go through the question. So we have k equal to 2, so the one optimal approach is 0 to 1. Okay, 1 and 3, so maximum is 3 and the minimum is 1. Okay, so value is 2. Great. And here for the second subarray we have 3 minus 1 is 2. Okay, then we just add these two guys. Okay, so yeah, for all the subarrays, once we have these values, then we can just add them. So one thing is, like, we have this subarray, but we can include this subarray more than once. So if we just consider these two subarrays, then we will have 2 plus 1, which is equal to 3. But if we consider this subarray twice, then we would be having 2 into 2, which is 4. Okay, then how much such subarrays we have to get? Okay, so we have to select k subarrays, and we are least bothered about the size of this subarrays. Okay, so we have 1 3 2, we have k equal to 2, so we have to select two subarrays. We can select this entire subarray also. Okay, and we can select any small subarray from this. So the best case would be to always select the entire subarray, so that if we select the entire subarray k times, then we will get the minimum element k times and the maximum element k times. Why we are selecting this entire subarray? Because this entire subarray includes the maximum and the minimum element, and we know that we want to maximize the difference, so we will always take the minimum element which is present in the array, and then we will take the maximum element which is present in the array, and this will give us the maximum difference. And we have to like, this will be maximum, the difference would be maximum, so we have to do this k times. Okay, we have to do this k times because we want to select k subarrays, so we can just select this entire array k times. So what would be our answer? So for one subarray the answer is maximum minus minimum, so for k times it would be k into maximum minus minimum. Great. So what we have to do is we have to find the maximum element from the array, the minimum element from the array, and then we have to multiply it by k. So this will give us our answer. So yeah, just let's try to solve this. So let's say I have the maximum as let's say the maximum is 0, because we are having elements from 1 to 5 to 10 raised to 4, and the minimum element would be long dot min value. Great. Sorry, it would be max value because we are minimizing this. Then let's take the maximum and minimum element from the array. So I'll just go in the array. Okay, so it is integer array. So here would be, we would be doing as max equal to my dot max of what? Max, and this I, and the minimum would be my dot min of min and this I. Great. Now once we have this, what we will do is we will return max minus min, and we will multiply it by k because we are doing this for k subarrays, and this should give us our answer. Let's try to submit this. So yeah, it gets accepted. So see, the question 2 is easy ones, like the easy medium, but we just have to think. Yeah, so let's go to the second question, like the for the second question of the this second last contest. Maximize sum of at most k distinct elements. Okay, so this is a easy problem, so should we skip this? So is the audio buffering? Okay, should we skip this because it is an easy problem? Let's just try to discuss the approach first. So we are given a positive integer array nums and an integer k, and what we have to do is choose at most k elements from nums, okay, so that their sum is maximized. Okay, however the chosen numbers must be distinct. Okay, return an array containing the chosen numbers in strictly decreasing order. Okay, so it is quite simple. Basically we can maintain a priority queue, and from that priority queue, or first we will add all the elements in the set. It can be a sorted set in descending order, and then what we can do is we can take the first k elements from that set, and this will give us our answer. So let's not solve this because this is a easy problem. So when we add all the elements in the set, we will get distinct elements, and since this is a sorted set in descending orders, if we take first k elements, then we will get our answer. So yeah, let's move to the third question. I mean, from the third last contest, the second question from the third last contest. Minimum discards to balance inventory. Okay, I think I have solved this in the contest, but I'm not remembering this. Let's try to solve this again. So you are given two integers w and m, and an integer array arrivals, and where arrivals are the type of item arriving at day I. Okay, items are managed according to the following rules. Each arrival may be kept or discarded. An item may only be discarded on its arrival day. Okay, once an item arrives, we can decide if we have to keep that item or discard it. Okay, for each day I consider the window of days. Okay, so this is some window of the days. The w is the most recent days up to day I. Okay, for any such window, each item type may appear at most m times. Okay, I'm gonna keep arrivals whose arrival day lies in that window. Okay, okay, if in the window, if any item arrives more than m times, then we have to discard it. Return the minimum number of arrivals to be discarded so that every w day window contains at most m occurrence of each type. Okay, let's just go to the problem statement once more to be clear, then we can just solve this problem, or we can discuss the approach for solving it. Okay, so let's discuss the problem now. So we have some arrivals. Let's consider this first example, or let's consider the second one. Okay, let's consider the second one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 3, 3 and 4. Okay, then we have some w as 3, m as 2. Okay, so we have some window as, let's say the formula for window is 1 2 I minus w plus 1. Okay, the max of this, like the max of this to current position. So this is some window, and what we want is, we want that each item must present in this window at most m times. Okay, we have to return the minimum number of arrivals to be discarded so that every WT window contains at most m occurrences of each type. Okay, so for each of this window, like we can consider this as a sub array. We want that for each of that sub array of this boundaries inclusive, we want that each element here must appear at most m times, times, and if any element occurs more than m times, then we can just discard that element. Okay, so we can discard that element. For example, let's say we have w equal to 4. So if we start from here, we have the formula as max of 1 and I minus w. I is 0, so here is I1 indexed, where is I, does it matter? Okay, so days are 1 index. Great. So what we have to do is, we have to find the maximum of 1 and 1 minus w. What is w? W is 3, I guess. So yeah, we have w as 3 plus 1. Okay, we want the max of this, and from this to our current position, which is I equal to 1, this, which is equal to the max I 1 minus 3, which is minus 2 plus 1, which is minus 1, so the max would be 1, and here we have 1. So we have this one boundary, and here this each element should appear at most m times. So yeah, the condition is satisfied, so we don't need to discard any element. So when we move here, we have the boundaries as I is here. Okay, so we have the boundaries as 2 minus w is 3 plus, what is this, 1, yeah, so it is 1. So the max of this would be 2 minus 3, which is minus 1 plus 1, which is 0, and the max would be 1. So here we have 2, because here we want to include the right boundary as 2. So we have 1 to 2, which is from this position to this position. So each element here appears less than m times. The frequency of every element is less than m. So yeah, we are fine here. Again, we will go till this part. Then for here, let's just maximize this first. Okay, when I is here, the value of the boundaries would be max of this, and here we have 3 minus 3 plus 1, and so we have to take the max of this, and the right boundary is basically 3, because we are at this third index, and here I is iterating based on one index. Okay, so here it would be 0 plus 1, which is max of 1, and 1 is 1, so 1 2 3. So in this part, again, we don't need to discard any element, because all the elements are having frequency less than m, so we can move ahead. Now here I is equal to 4. Now when I equal to 4, what we do is we calculate the max, which is 1, and 4 minus 3 plus 1, and here it is 4. So 4 minus 3 is 1 plus 1 equal to 2. So the max is 2 and 4. Okay, so for this part we take this subarray like this window, and now here we know that the frequency of 3 is 2, which is still within the bounds because we can bear up to m frequency. So yeah, this is fine. Now we again move ahead. I is equal to 5, so the max would be 1 and 5 minus 3 plus 1, which is 5 minus 3 is 2. Okay, so 5 minus 3 plus 1, which is 2 plus 1, which is 3. And again we have here the right boundary as 5. So we take the elements from 3 to 5, which is 3 to 5. We consider this window. Now here we can see that the frequency of 3 is basically 3, which is greater than my m. So we can discard this element. We can just discard this and we can move ahead. So the number of discard is, let's say I am storing this discards in this answer, so it is 1, and I'm moving ahead. Okay, now once I'm at this position, so my maximum would be 1 and 4 minus, no, it's not 4, basically it is 6, because it is 1 2 3 4 5 6. So 6 minus 3 plus 1, which is 3 plus 1 equal to 4, and from 4 to 6. So we are considering this window, and here for this window we can see that all the elements, like the frequency of all the elements, is within the bounds of this m. So yeah, there is no more discards. So yeah, we get the answer as 1, which should be the answer for this test case. So yeah, it is 1. So how can we solve this problem? 1 2 triple 3 4. Okay, 1 2 triple 3 4. W equal to 3 and m equal to 2. How can we solve this? Do we have any active viewers? Hey guys, can you just spam in the comments? Let me just put this on charge. So can anyone suggest what we can do here? Come on guys, we have 4 active viewers. How can we just calculate the frequency of each of the element in a particular window of size from max of 1 and I minus w plus 1, and this is the left boundary basically, and the right boundary is simply I. Okay, so we want to calculate the frequency of all the elements in this particular window, and we have to do this for all the windows. And when we will see that for any element, if the frequency is greater than m, then we can simply discard that element. So how can we do that? How can we do that? Okay, can anyone suggest? So let me just think for a minute. So using this formula, we get the left boundary, and we already know the right boundary. So we are having this L and R. Let's say L is here and R is maybe somewhere over here. So we want to calculate the frequency in this part. So what we can do is, if we can maintain a segment tree. I know it's a bit overkill, but this is something which I can think of right now. So we can maintain a segment tree for this array, and if I query from L to R, it will give me the frequency of a particular element for which I am querying for. In this manner, I'll get the frequency of this subarray. Okay. Okay, let me just clarify this. Okay, so let's say we are moving from here, and for simplicity, let's say that we are considering a window of size 3. Okay, so L would be here, R would be here. Okay, and we already have the frequent segment tree for this guys. So let's say the segment tree is somewhat like 1 2 3 3 3 4. Okay, so now let's say I want to query for this part. Then the segment tree is represented something like this, this, then again I have this, maybe this and this. Okay, so let's say I'm querying from this part to this part. So my query will come here, then it will come here, and again for the right part it will come here, and then I'll get the result for the frequency of this. Like for this part, we will calculate the frequency of all the elements which are present on the leaf nodes, and this give me the frequency as 2, and again here I get the frequency of this 3 as 1, so the total frequency would be 3. Okay, so I get the total frequency for this part is 3, and I'll calculate this. Like I'll just query for the frequency when I arrive at an index I. So let's say my I is moving and I am at this index. So when I'll reach here, I'll calculate the frequency of this element starting from this L part, like this absolute L part, to this R part, and if I see that this element is already having, if I take this element, then my frequency would be greater than my M, then I'll just discard this. And I'll set the the element which is present in the segment tree, like this is the second last 3. So here I'll update it as 0. I'll update it as 0, or let's say negative infinity or infinity, anything. But basically what I'm saying is, once I discard an element, then I'll also mark it as visited or discarded. I would say discarded is the right term in the segment tree, so that next time when I'll query for this part, I'll only get 2 3s. So yeah, this is the basic idea which I can think of. So yeah, this is a segmentary approach, and the time complexity would be simply we are just iterating through the array, so it would be of n into, as we are querying this segment tree, it would be log n, so n log n is the time complexity. And for building this segment tree, we can just calculate it as of n, we can do it in n. So yeah, can we think of any other approach? I think I have coded the same solution. Let's go through the solution, but this is the actual thought process behind this. So yeah, I coded the segmentary approach. Yeah, this is the same thing which is which we just discussed right now. We maintain a segment tree, and for while iterating we just calculate the frequency of the element where we are, and then if our count plus 1 gives which is greater than m, because this is the element for which I am querying, and if I include a particular element in my previous count in this window, if it is exceeding my m, then I'll just increment my discards and I'll update this position as 0, because I believe we are not considering 0 element. The elements are from 1 to, let's say, 10 raised to 5 or something. So yeah, the elements are from 1 to 10 raised to 5, which means that we can update 0 at that position, and we can just continue to just find the answer for this further elements. So yeah, this is slightly overkill I think for this problem, but can we think of any another solution? I'm damn sure that there exist another solutions. Can someone in the comments suggest something? Let's think of any other solution. Let's actually grind for any other solution. 1 2 3 3 4. 1 2 3 3 3 and 4. So as we are moving from L to R, we want the frequency for this window, or maybe for this window, doesn't matter. Okay, so for every index, if I maintain the frequency of every element, for every index if I maintain the frequency of every element, then when I am at a position, let's say this position, so I'll just, let's say I have 0 threes here, or I would say I have 3 threes at this position, and at this point I have 0 threes. So for this total 3 threes, I'll just subtract the frequency which was for 3 which was present at this index, so it would be 3, which means that this 3 frequency is just in this window. But if we will do this, then we will store all the elements for all the indexes, which will give us memory limit exceeded. Okay, okay, what if for every 3, for every element, I'll just uh, I'll just keep track of the last occurrence of that element. Okay, for this, if I keep the last occurrence of this element, then my 3 would be here. Let's say here we have 2, and for this 2 I'm storing the last occurrence somewhere over here. Then for this 2 I'll check where was the last occurrence. If the last occurrence was in this part, like outside the window, then what I can do is I can just subtract the frequency of that from this current frequency of 2 to get the number of 2's in this window. But will this work? Let's say we have the same example, 1 2 3 3 3 4. Then here we have this part. Okay, so here the frequency is 1 2 3, and window size is 3. So here, if I get the frequency of this previous element, then I get that the frequency is 2. Now if my m is equal to 1, then I'll check that uh, apart from this one, all the other threes are present outside the window or they are inside the window. We have to check this if we go with this approach. So we have 5 concurrent viewers, guys. So we have 5 concurrent viewers. So we solve this with one approach, which is segment tree approach. Segment tree, or we can also solve it with Fenwick tree. These guys will do the same job, but we want a more simpler approach for this. We want a simpler approach. Hey Chirag Bansal, hey guys. By the way guys, just subscribe to the channel for more such videos, because this is the first live stream on this channel. But yeah, we would be doing more such live stream every day in order to practice LeetCode problems, or I would say to develop the thought process behind solving the problems, whether it be me increasing my thought process or improving my thought process, or you guys improving yours. So let's learn collectively. So can anyone suggest some simpler solution to this problem, because we have just solved it using segment tree and Fenwick tree. Let's not mention Fenwick tree here, because most of you guys may know segment tree but not Fenwick tree, because this is slightly something which is used more often than Fenwick tree. But yeah, we are thinking of a more simple solution for this problem. W equal to 3, M equal to 2. So let me just think for a while. Python using backend using Python or JavaScript. For AIML, if you are targeting this, then definitely Python, because it will help you guys to build some AI agents or integrate AI. And if you are doing this for, let's say, enterprise application, or for a or for building a company, or let's say a scalable applications, you should do it using Java Spring Boot. तो ब्रो अगर AIML सीखना है या फिर उसके कुछ स्क्रिप्ट्स बनाने हैं तो Django मतलब पाइथन यूज़ करके Django और फ्लास्क में कर सकते हो, लेकिन अगर कुछ इंटरप्राइज एप्लीकेशन बनाना है या फिर कुछ प्लेसमेंट रिलेटेड करना है तो डेफिनेटली स्प्रिंग बूट करना चाहिए. एंड जावास्क्रिप्ट का अगर तुम लोग बोल रहे हो तो जावास्क्रिप्ट मैं बोलूँगा कि अगर कॉन्करेंट कुछ एप्लीकेशंस बनाने हैं तो यूज़ करते हैं, बट अगर फर्स्ट टाइम सीख रहे हो और अगर अच्छा कुछ टेक सीखना चाहते हो तो आई थिंक यू शुड गो विथ स्प्रिंग बूट. yes, you can go with spring boot, because here if you learn node.js, you have to really learn at optimizing this. Although you have more jobs for this, but in the long run Spring Boot will give you more advantages. So it's not about what we should pick, like Python, JavaScript, Java. Instead you should learn a framework, whether it be Spring Boot, Django, or maybe Node.js. And once you master a particular framework or backend application, then you can move towards other technologies. Don't constrain yourself from learning just one tech and not moving to ahead, like not moving to another technologies, because the tech depends on the use cases. Like if you are building a chat app, then basically it is simple in Node.js instead of me doing it do the complete chat app in Spring Boot. So yeah, इस हिसाब से थोड़ा थोड़ा फिर टेक पिक करो. So that's what I will suggest. Hi Loki, hi. So guys, will you like the I would say development related content? How to do DSA fast and regularly, since I lack motivation and consistency? Nice question. Nice question. Nice question. See, what happens is when you are starting a DSA, then most of the times we are not able to do a problem, then we get frustrated. And it's not with you only, it is the same case with, let's say, me, or any, let's say, the person who is grandmaster right now, whoever it will be. Everyone will be demotivated when once he is not able to solve a problem. But yeah, if you are targeting companies, then you can just master patterns, and for each of the pattern first you can solve problems, and then once you are done with the patterns, then you guys can, what you can do is solve random problems. So if I'll suggest, once just go through some patterns. I have a sheet which I prepared earlier. I'm not having it handy right now, but yeah, I'll share a sheet which contains all the patterns, and you can master that patterns, and then you can move towards randomly solving problems if you are targeting companies. And at the same time, you should also give a live contest, because contests are something which will help you to solve the problems in some constraint basis. So does that answer your question, Chirag? The only way to do DSA fast is to master patterns and then solve random problems. And yeah, consistency is the key, by the way. Stay consistent. I know that in the initial days you will not be able to solve problems, but yeah, as you move ahead, then you will be able to solve problems. And this is the case with every competitive programmer or everyone who does DSA. So yeah, it's not demotivating for you only, Chirag. Yes, Loki, definitely. Definitely, if you have started CS50 and you know Python, it is definitely a good start. But what I'll suggest is, just don't constrain yourself for a particular language. First, master one language or maybe a technology, and then move towards other technologies, because we uh, we learn technology for solving a problem. I'm not talking about lead code problems, but basically overall problems. Like let's say, if I want to build some scalable chat app, I'll use Node.js. If I want to build some AI server, like AI application, then I'll just create a Django server. So yeah, start with something and then move towards other tech. And as you are already in high school, then you have a lot of time. So just keep hustling and do code daily, I would say. So Sagar, to answer your question, if you already know front end and you just want to know back end, such that you can collaborate with a backend developer, so you can start with Node.js, because you already know JavaScript, so Node.js will be easier for you. And I think if you will follow some good YouTube tutorial, then you can just learn Node.js pretty fast. Yeah, Loki, that's not the problem. Just okay, you can just code consistently, if not daily, then try to code 3 to 4 days in a week, or maybe 3 days, so that the consistency is not break. So guys, just subscribe to the channel so that I'll be motivated enough to do this live streams every day, so that we can solve problems and we guys can learn together. So what is the current subscriber count? Okay, great guys, you are subscribing to the channel. Okay, Node.js. So to be honest, सागर, मैंने बहुत टाइम से Node.js किया नहीं है, but if we are talking about Node.js, just okay. So if you are talking about Node.js, इसमें क्या आना चाहिए? APIs लिखना आना चाहिए, फॉर मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट. देन फिर थोड़ा सॉकेट भी सीख लो, सॉकेट प्रोग्रामिंग भी सीख लो. देन इसके साथ डीबी से इंटीग्रेशन करना है. कौन सा डीबी? मे बी पोस्टग्रेस डीबी और मोंगो डीबी, दोनों टाइप के डीबी, लाइक एसक्यूएल डीबी एंड नो एसक्यूएल डीबी. ये दोनों चीज़ सीख लो. एंड फिर इसके लिए क्या चीज़ ज़रूरी होता है, तुम यूज़ कर सकते हो एक लेट्स से ORM. if you are if you are using Postgres, then you will not directly write the queries in SQL. Instead you will use something like ORM, and read about it. Basically it is used to work with some databases. It is basically plug and play model where you can just integrate any kind of database. सो या ये कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है जो तुम्हें Node.js में सीखने चाहिए. और इसके साथ सिंस Node.js एक सिंगल थ्रेडेड मॉडल फॉलो करता है, तो इसमें वर्क कैसे होता है, लाइक असिंक अवेट क्या होता है, कैसे मतलब इंटरनली कैसे वर्क करता है, वो सीखो. सो आई वुड से असिंक्रोनस प्रोग्रामिंग. ये कैसा होता है, ये सीख लो. Then if we go in Node.js, then what else do we have? इवेंट लूप वगैरह क्या होता है, ये सीख लो. ये कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है. इवेंट लूप क्या होता है, ये सब सीखो. एम क्या है? एक API बनाना जिसको डेटाबेस के साथ इंटीग्रेट कर सकते हैं. ये आपका बेसिक स्टफ हो गया. इसके बाद फिर जो बाकी फैंसी चीज़ें बोल सकते हो, जैसे कि माइक्रो सर्विस की मल्टीपल सर्विसेज रहेंगे तो वो कैसे कम्युनिकेट करेंगे, काफका को कैसे इंटीग्रेट कर सकते हो, रेडिस को कैसे इंटीग्रेट कर सकते हो. बट पहले स्टार्ट करो Node.js से, कुछ APIs बनाना सीखो, एक अच्छा सा प्रोजेक्ट बना लो जिसमें कंफर्टेबल हो जाओगे. बिकॉज जो लर्निंग होती है प्रोजेक्ट से होती है, टू बी फेयर. कुछ अच्छा प्रोजेक्ट बनाओ एंड फिर बाकी चीज़ें एक्सप्लोर कर सकते हो. एंड ये इनफ होगा अगर सिर्फ आपको कम्युनिकेट करना है किसी बैक एंड डेवलपर के साथ और इतना ही सीखना है तो. लाइक आई वुड से दैट डोंट कंस्ट्रेंट योर सेल्फ. Try with this basic stuff and then go to the advanced stuff as well. Okay, so Loki, yes, definitely I prepared for JEE, and what I'll suggest you is focus on JEE. If you are in 11th and 12th, focus on JEE, because this is something like, if I just draw the career graph, like, or let's say the timeline while we are learning, we have 11th 12th, and then we have, let's say, engineering or any other degree or bachelor's degree program. Okay, let's say engineering or something. So let's say the ultimate aim is to become a programmer. Okay, So there are two paths. One is score good in 11th and 12th, okay, in JEE, and go to some well-known college, let's say IIT, NIT, or anything, okay, so that here you will have access to top tier companies, let's say Google or any FAANG company, FAANG or maang company, okay. One path is this, and the other path is go to any tier 3 college, because this is basically a leftover option, I'll be very honest. So let's say we have tier 3 company or tier 2 company. Now from here also you will go to this part, FAANG. But the problem is, if you are here and you want to stand out yourself, you have to do great in CP or development. You have to do great in CP and development. And in the recent times, you know that everywhere AI is being used. So I would say that here you would not have a fair chance, like if you compare to these guys, because these guys have access to this. And for you, if you are from tier 3 or tier 2 college, you have to create opportunities to get into this. And since for IIT and JEE you only have this 2 years, after that you have to take a drop, which is in turn a big decision, because you are sacrificing your 1 year a year in order to get into some IIT or good college, I would say. So if you can, if you have a constrained time to prepare for JEE, then definitely you should prepare for JEE, because anyways you have the time to prepare for, like, to learn programming later. Anyways, if you are going to triple IIT, or let's say tier 1 college, or maybe tier 2 and tier 3 college, in that time also you can just learn programming. So you will definitely learn programming in this part. But for learning for preparing for JEE, you just have this time, and this is less than the time for which we can prepare programming. So definitely you should focus on JEE. Yes, Sagar, if you are yes so if you are preparing for Node, now just Node is just used to create a server, HTTP server. But this is not what we used in production. Here we use something as Express.js, or maybe Nest.js. This is a framework, and this is, I would say, a lightweight modules which we can use to create a Node.js application. So yeah, you should learn Mun, MongoDB, Express, React, and since you know React, we have another component as Node.js. So when I say we have to learn Node.js, it is Node.js plus Express plus some database. Here it is MongoDB, because here it is Mun, but you can also learn Postgres, which is Pun. So yeah, the core is you have to develop APIs which will interact with the databases, which will interact with the cache. So yeah, these are the different tools which you have to learn in order to interact with the databases. So yes, you should definitely learn Express, and then along with this, learn some package manager, like let's say npm, or maybe yarn, or maybe bun. Now it is getting popular. Although I have not used it, but yeah, I have heard that this is giving far more better performance than these guys. So yeah, learn this. Like, this is something, I think, apart from Node.js, this alternative of Node.js, I think, I'm not remembering actually. Pun versus Node, yeah, this is alternative of npm, so yeah, you can use it. So yes, yes Loki, definitely you have 2 years, 11th and 12th. You should definitely try as much as you can for JEE. Then you have, anyways, you have time to learn programming. Learn programming as a hobby and give your full efforts in JEE. This is what I think you should follow. So Sagar, did I answer your question? And Loki, yours too. MongoDB or PostgreSQL, which I have to learn. See Sagar, again depends on the use cases. Let me just clear the usage of each DB, or let's say MongoDB in the initial days. Here you can learn it pretty easily compared to Postgres, because for this you have to learn SQL. You should know SQL. But here for learning MongoDB, you don't need to learn specific SQL or something. So it is easier compared to this. So first learn this, then you can switch towards some SQL databases. So I don't think we can be live for some more time, let's say 5 or 10 minutes, and yes, then we can just wrap this. We will we will be live again tomorrow, then we would solve some more questions. For MongoDB and Express and Node.js. For MongoDB, Express, Node.js, I think Code with Harry has some course for this. Yes, this is a Munstack course, you can follow this. You can follow any course basically, and then you can build projects, because you will learn more from projects than from any course, I would say. Tech high. Okay. Tech high. So yeah, for placement of 8 LPA, so you are in your third year and you have done basic DSA and Munstack and few projects. Okay. So for placements in college, what you will need, you should have some dev skills, let's say Mun or any stack, Mun, Spring Boot, anything. Then what you will need, you should have understanding of the how computers work, like the networking stuff, OS stuff, and then you should have knowledge of databases. You can learn the basics of this, learn SQL. Okay, once you have dev skills, then you have the knowledge of how computers work, and then we know we want DSA. In DSA, if you are targeting companies which can offer you up to 8 lakhs, then you should be having moderate knowledge of DSA, I would say. If we consider this in form of contest, then you should easily solve question 1, question 2, and I think this is enough for you to get a 8 LPA job. By question 1 and question 2, I mean that you should you should solve it on a regular basis easily, and you should be able to think of some, let's say, brute force approach for question 3, or some kind of solution. Let's say it is not optimized, but some kind of solution for question 3 and for topics. And for this, basically, you can just learn DSA patterns, and this is enough. This is enough to crack any company up to, let's say, 10 LPA or maybe 12 or 15 LPA also. This is enough. So yeah, this is something which can easily give you a 8 LPA package. Yes, techie, I would say do stack, queue, arrays, sliding window. Then what we have, let's say some string problems, then hash map. These are all data structures, but you should know how to solve problems using this data structure set. And we do have many more. I'll just post a video which is covering all the DSA topics you can, which you can learn basically in like, let's say, 1 or 2 months, and that is enough for you guys to crack any interview up to 15 LPA, or I think maybe 20 LPA, because it covers all these topics which are included in the interviews of all these companies. So yeah, I'll definitely post a video on that. Sagar, if you want to do DSA, then I would say that pick from Java or C++. And if you want to target like competitive programming, if you have plans regarding going into competitive programming, then you can learn C++, so that you can have a great transitions towards CP. You can go to CP by doing Java also, but here you will find more solutions in C++. So if you are targeting competitive programming, then you should do it using C++. And if you are just doing DSA for interviews, then I think you should go with Java. No doubt you should go with Java. Why? Because using Java, you can give interviews, you can do DSA, and it will help you to learn OOPS in a much better way than it is used in development. So it's a one, what we can say, that bundled package which offers you all these things. Here also you can do DSA. I don't know, I don't think there is any question regarding this. You can do development, but if you are doing development using C++, then you will definitely have a bad time, because using C++ for development is, I would say, it's not an ideal choice for beginners. So go with Java if you are preparing for interviews, and this will definitely help you in the company. And do C plus, like do DSA in C++ only if you are targeting competitive programming, or let's say you want to build some embedded systems or something. Yes, Techie, you can follow A to Z Sheets driver from YouTube. Yes, definitely you can follow that sheet. So yeah, guys, I think I should close the stream right now. We will meet again tomorrow, where we will solve more problems. We will have again more discussions regarding this. So yeah, I'll just close the stream in uh, about 3 minutes. At 8:23 we are closing the stream. So do you have any questions? So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, because we would be uploading more such videos. Also, we would be doing screencast of the contest, like the daily contest, and we will gain some learnings from there. So the motive of this channel is to build a thought process for solving problems, then getting interview ready, be it on the DSA side or be it on the dev side. Although I have not started with dev, but yeah, we can just start with dev if I feel that we have enough viewers which want dev. So yeah, 2 minutes to go. So just an update, we would be uploading two videos on this channel. One video would be about DSA, where we would cover all these topics which are asked in the interviews. And if you will just follow that list which I will provide, like it just contains the topics and some problems, like some well-known problems for that particular topic, like to practice that topic. If you have mastered this, then you are interview ready, I can assure you that. And the other video would be about system design, like for high level design, which contains all the topics which we should learn if we are targeting to learn designing. So yeah guys, thanks for watching. I'm ending the stream now. Thanks guys.